So, the punk finally got around to making my episode. Took long enough. Hello and welcome to another Streaming Parson Dig Delight Direct Drive DJ video. Today we are talking about happyaround's DJ, Akashi Maho. Maho is the definition of fan service. In D4DJ's infancy, their creators wanted to utilize various transmedia, such as anime and a rhythm mobile game with visual novel elements to promote their music. While there was already utilization of hiring several budding idol talents, Donuts went a step further with creating entire fictions for the stage characters. Starting with first mix and well into Groovy mix, Maho is made to be a very likable character. I can think of two big reasons why she is a beloved character in the community. Maho's compassion and her realism, creating an approachable and highly relatable character. Maho first appears in episode 1 of First Mix, when Rinku enters and introduces herself to the wrong classroom. She is seated in a sea of potato-faced plainness, with no semblance of significance. Shortly later, Rinku is having lunch and upon hearing a song from her childhood, barges into the public announcer room where Maho operates as the acting DJ for the day. Maho's no-nonsense attitude is immediately on display as she is quick to dismiss the new girl's quirky antics, not limited to her rejection of a Maho pet name. Rinku is apologetic of the embarrassing display, as well as enamored by the activities of a DJ, and asks Maho to tell her all about it. Instead of attempting to explain DJ culture with words, Maho shows Rinku a peeky performance, increasing Rinku's fascination. Rinku asks Maho to make a DJ unit with her, bribing her with seashells, of all things. Maho gives in, kicking off First Mix's origin story of DJ unit, Happyaround.
これとこれは外せないとして、序盤はこの辺りで、中盤からこれで上げてって、いや、これはラス前か。つか、そもそもあんまガチガチに組んでくってのも違う気がするし。でも現場で迷ってミスのは避けたいし。頭ぐるぐるしてきた。私の初めてのパフォーマンスだもん。絶対成功させたいんだけど。私だけのじゃないよね。私とあの子のパフォーマンス。そういえば私あの子のことまだ全然知らないや。
Her acceptance of Rinku's proposition says a lot about her character. The first and foremost emphasized quality is her kindness and compassion. Maho has no reason to agree to Rinku's terms, considering that they are complete strangers. In the second episode, her kindness is on display again when she refers to the first live performance as both hers and Rinku's live show, indicating that she isn't self-interested, but already sees them as a team. When Rinku includes Mooney and later Rei into the group, Maho gives little resistance to Rinku's eccentricities. In treating Happyaround this way, the writers really wanted the audience to like Maho. They needed to quickly achieve this, not only because she is a main character of First Mix, but as the series progressed and introduced other characters, she needed to stay relevant to avoid being eclipsed by the expanding, colorful cast. In the grand scheme of things, Maho is actually a playing character in D4DJ's cast. Not only does she not really stand out in a sea of NPCs appearance-wise, she is not some larger-than-life character unlike Rinku, Mooney, and Rei. Returning to episode 2 of First Mix, when Rinku gets all excited to do a live show, Maho explains that DJ performances are not simple ordeals. The attention to detail that Maho considers grounds Rinku and by extension the audience that despite D4DJ existing in a cute anime girl world, Maho's realism is at the forefront as she assesses their situation in a natural way. Maho's approach to every problem is very grounded, highlighting that in actuality, she thinks like a very normal girl, which normally is detrimental in anime, as characters are written to be extravagant as a means to distinguish them. Rinku oozes positivity. Mooney acts like she popped out of a toy commercial, and Rei's absurd wealth creates easy identity markers for them. Maho is only memorable in so much as she is not outlandish like the others, which works well enough when the cast is small. As D4DJ's narrative evolved, it becomes clear that Maho struggles to stand out. She's no queen bee like Kyoko, no legacy DJ like Shinobu, nor is she an exotic country girl like Saki. Maho's blandness is heightened in Groovy mix with the inclusion of the crazy sexy girls of Mermaid, the moody misfits of Rondo, and the oxymoronic DJ Catholic schoolgirls Lyrical Lily. Consider the sort of stories that Donuts was able to compose with these people Maho meets at the first D4 Fest. The mystery child of a tragic actor, a model reinvigorating her acting passion, a forgetful prankster rediscovering how she met people, a crepe crammer with phenomenal emotional quotient, a lucky klutz finding a family to sing for, the chainsaw girl, and a senpai who thinks punching ghosts is a viable strategy. With this fantastic cast of characters with fantastic stories, what does Donuts come up with for an average girl in this Dig Delight world?
自分たちのプレーを見ればこれならプロで通じるぞっていう武器が見つかるかもって思ってた。でも見れば見るほどひょっとしたらリンクやレイはアマでやっていた方が幸せなんじゃないかって思うようになってきた。けど私はアマを選択できない。だってずっとプロの世界に憧れてきた。アマ活動はそのための通過点だ。もちろんアマとしての活動が悪いわけじゃない。けれどプロを志す人間が目の前にその選択肢が現れて、それでもまだアマにとどまることを選んでしまうようなら、もうプロになんてなれない気がする。準備が整うまで待つんじゃなく、そのチャンスがあったら全力で掴みに行く。それぐらいじゃなきゃプロになれない。フォトンがそうだったように、ここで弾いていたらダメなんだ。でも
Road to D4 Fest 2, Happyaround, tells the story of Maho wanting Happyaround to go professional to significantly increase their renown. The thought of being a professional DJ was something Maho had always thought about since the start of First Mix. That's right, in a music franchise about DJs, there's a character who takes an obscure hobby and wants to work her way into a success story by becoming a professional DJ. The way the narrative has Maho clearly communicate this is refreshing, as it reminds the audience that Maho is a normal person with normal ambitions. She's the typical high schooler who takes her current hobby and thinks, I'm gonna do this forever! The first D4 Fest reveals to Maho that this goal is actually within reach and is determined to pursue it. At least, she thought she was. When she pitches to the other members of Happyaround that they should sign with an agency akin to fellow unit Photon Maiden, there is resistance within the group. Rinku and Rei reject the idea as taking instruction from a third party in order to accommodate public music taste would take away from Happyaround's identity. Happyaround as a DJ unit exists to find enjoyment as they spread happiness around them. This, however, creates two huge problems for Maho and her pursuits. The first problem in her DJ pursuits is her sustainability. In Happyaround's founding, Maho was fine following the flow of Rinku's charisma. But as time passed, reality sunk in. If DJing is something she really wanted, then going professional would be the next logical step. After all, that means that she can make a livelihood from a hobby that she clearly loves. So why not get paid? This would solve her apparent money issues. Throughout Happyaround's narrative, she is written to not come from a life of wealth. She's not poor by any means, as she does attend a Yoba academy, meaning that her family can afford private school. In Groovy Mix, the audience learns that Maho's parents are above Japanese working class, being a firefighter and a nurse. Then there is the whole personal laptop and DJ set at home thing. Point is, she isn't actually poor. She only looks this way because she is mostly surrounded by people who are somewhere between Regina George and Bruce Wayne levels of rich. While there are comical levels of money thrown around in Groovy Mix's narrative, Maho doesn't have to look very far to be reminded of her economic status. She expresses envy of teammate Rei's astronomical wealth, calling her rich girl upon seeing her purchase fancy Wagyu beef for a study session, or when she casually mentions going to a fancy inn in Kyoto during the winter season. Maho is truly taken aback in Groovy Mix's new song, Conflict, Sleepover story. Not only does she feel guilty making $50 hamburgers for dinner, she also becomes wary of touching any of the expensive paintings Rei shows her. Maho being conscious of money reminds the audience that, like normal people, money is a real concern, and the idea of making money from her DJing is appealing. Returning to Road to D4 Fest 2, Happyaround, it makes sense that she would consider turning her hobby to a job, because it is something that she has always wanted. Maho's hesitancy to be firm in her convictions stem from her second problem, her people-pleasing nature. She is a very compassionate person, as she considers the thoughts and feelings of others and desires to make sure everyone around her is valued. With how responsible she is in taking care of her younger siblings, she developed a strong sense of dependability. This quality is what makes the rest of the cast highly admire her. However, it is often a double-edged sword, as Maho will end up sacrificing her own interests in order to accommodate Rinku, Mooney, and Rei, not willing to put her foot down in order to make optimal decisions for their unit, despite being their leader. Rinku's bubbly personality and high energy makes her recognizable as the face of Happyaround, but Maho is the operative leader. Throughout First Mix, Maho generally guides the direction of their music and organizes their set list. All Mix Episode 6, June, Daydream, has the other three recognize Maho's leadership and how much they rely on her. Her natural leadership skills are not only a result of her taking care of her siblings, but from emulating her parents who are leaders in their respective professions. In A Secretive Big Sister, while talking to his daughter, Maho's father talks about the importance of setting a good example for others. He uses his firefighting team as an illustration, implying that he is the captain of his squad. It is then stated that Maho's mother is the head nurse in their district hospital, suggesting that Maho cultivated that quality by emulating them. However, there is another important detail about their professions. Between a firefighter and a nurse, her parents are also civil servants, being people who serve the public. It is ingrained in Maho's mind that one should live a life serving others, and while Jesus Christ would greatly commend her, she doesn't handle this in a mature way. She interprets serving others as simply doing what others say, giving up any sense of agency along the way. This is highlighted in the climax of Road to D4 Fest 2, Happy Around, when she reveals to her unit a notebook she keeps at school. This notebook is filled with writings on convincing herself that she has to conform to public opinion in order to be valued. Maho always wanted to be a professional DJ and was willing to make the sacrifices needed in order to achieve that goal. However, her time in Happy Around convinces her that playing someone else's tune would diminish everything they have worked for, as their identity would dissolve, conforming into some cookie-cutter DJ unit. While the story ends with their renewed conviction in elevating their renown by their own merit, which is good and all, this doesn't deal with Maho's people-pleasing problem. For all intents and purposes, all she did was shift who benefits from her sacrificing nature. On the one hand, it is sensible to orient your sacrifice to those you know over some faceless bureaucrats, which feels like a strong meta commentary Donuts is poking at with the entertainment industry. On the other hand, Maho is still a people pleaser who doesn't know how to make boundaries in order to moderate herself. She accommodates the desires of Rinku and Rei to the point that she ends up really hurting herself regarding her personal desires. In To Go Around, Twilight Travel's Sentiment, Happy Around visits Maho's cousin, Kaho. While the cousins are shopping, Kaho reveals to Maho that she plans to inherit and operate her family's business and has begun studying things like business management to prepare herself. It dawns on Maho that she doesn't know what she plans on doing in the future. This is a far cry from her initial desire to make DJing her livelihood. In a later scene, she confesses to the rest of Happy Around that she is anxious about her direction in life as she believes she has no convictions for the future.
なんかさ、急に不安になっちゃって。不安ですか？カホ、この旅館を継ぐつもりなんだって。最近は本格的に経営とかも学んでるんだって言っててさ、きっとカホには見えてるんだよね。未来に続く道が。ほんと、私とは大違い。マホちゃん。昔、さ、私、空手を習ってたんだよね。ダリアさんが同じ教室にいたんだけど、それがもう、すっごくかっこよくてさ、ダリアさんみたいになりたいって思って、練習もそれなりに頑張ってたんだけど、中学に入る前にあっさりやめちゃった。どうして？ダリアさんが教室を辞めたから。もちろん DJ に興味が出たっていうのもあるんだけど我ながらほんと浅い理由だよね。DJ も同じだよ。楽しそう。だからやってみたい。本音なんてほんとそれだけだったんだ。実際楽しかったな。中学ではピキピキの音楽に出会ってユニットに憧れて、高校ではリンクに出会ってビビッと来たりして。でももし仮にだけどさ、私ってリンクに出会わなかったらどうなってたと思う？ もし私に会わなかったら空手のように DJ をやめてしまっていた。だったらまだいいかな。私は多分何も変わらなかったと思うんだよね。ユニット組みたいなーとか言いながら仕方ないって割り切ってそれなりに楽しく DJ 続けちゃってるんだと思う。
Maho laments how she got into karate and DJing simply because she thought they looked cool. She treats herself harshly, believing that her mentality is shallow and fears she will drop DJing like she did with karate. This scene is disheartening because she is not graceful to herself, viewing herself as a short-sighted failure. But to what litmus can Maho really make that claim? When did Maho last have a moment to sit down and contemplate her life? When was the last time Maho was given a chance to express her desires? How about something simple? Has anyone asked Maho what she wants? This can all be answered with, because she is too busy putting others before herself that she never granted herself the chance to even think about it. After putting aside her professional DJ ambitions in order for happyaround to stay happy, she has made herself miserable, which is ironic because she wanted to make sure that no one felt hurt in their conversation back in Road to D4 Fest 2, but forgot all about herself. This ultimately begs the question, what changed? Nothing. Nothing about Maho's character actually changed. In the grand scheme of things, she acts like any other teenager her age. She is driven by impulse, picking up hobbies and doing things that she thinks is attractive, which is completely normal. The fact she feels ashamed of this is the real injustice, because it feels as if Groovy Mix's writers portray normality as a character flaw. This is an odd projection because normality is what allows mythology to be immersive. This is Maho's primary appeal. Despite D4DJ being science fiction, she is easily relatable as being conscious about things like money, social pressures, and anxiety about the future is something people do every day, and that is completely normal. I like to personally highlight how Maho's relatability translates into the real world. Sure, every character is relatable on some level. I mean, my previous video essay was about how our shared humanity makes us all relate to each other. However, the rest of D4DJ's cast have some aspects to their character that are not only larger than life, most of them borderline into absurdity. You've got daughters of deceased celebrities, teenage engineers that should be working at Stark Industries, straight up criminals getting a pass, and don't get me started again on Lumina. These fantastic elements uphold the mythological veil, barring D4DJ's narrative from being fully immersive. Maho is different as her ordinary life not only dampens that barrier, but shatters it by being someone that one could believably meet on a regular day. From taking care of her siblings to cooking simple things like curry and hamburgers, her girl next door aspect keeps D4DJ's storytelling grounded and realistic. Unfortunately, that grounded realism forces me to take the blowback and risk cutting myself with the double-edged blade I gave Maho, and talk about how despite her not changing much, the world she lived in changed everything. Frostby is a wild story about two sisters battling for the life of their third sister using the collective consciousness of musicians as their battleground. Lumina conscripts the other DJ units to come up with a plan to stop Proto Lumina. This so-called plan involves creating harmonized music between the units so alluring that Proto-Lumina cannot resist listening to. At the end of Crossbeat Chapter 5, the cast are split up into different groups to set up for the battleground referred to as the Virtual D4 Fest. One of the groups is the designated DJ group, comprised of Maho, Shinobu, Saki, Saori, Aoi, Haruna, Michiru, and Sophia. Michiru makes a comment about being excited to work with a bunch of fellow quirky DJs. Most of the other DJs don't deny the remark, except for Maho and Sophia, but the latter's objection is immediately dismissed. There is something to this. The following chapter has the DJs trying to work as a team. Maho is shown not doing much, as that scene is mostly Michiru and Shinobu butting heads, to which Saki steals the spotlight by taking charge. She settles the dispute when neither Aoi nor Maho step in. Considering that Maho is known for her leadership skills, her lack of proactivity in Crossbeat diminished her, resembling the NPCs she first appeared with in First Mix. Perhaps there is an in-universe explanation to attempt justifying this continual sidelining. The sad reality is that Maho, being a grounded, realistic girl, is just not built for the world she lives in. As the world of D4DJ progresses further into the realm of science fiction, the girl next door is simply left behind. In her compassion to bridge the gap between our world and theirs, she is lagged so far behind that she can no longer see where she is going. This is the reason why Maho is so confused in To Go Around, Twilight Travel Sentiment. She lost her identity within the narrative and does not know how to move forward from there. She is ashamed of her shallow mentality, but it feels wrong that Maho feels this way, considering that she was subjugated to so many changes without a proper chance to adapt. She put her ambitions aside out of love for her friends, and ever since, she has been dragged along for the ride, losing agency not just in D4DJ's narrative, but her own life. Considering that Maho's agency has been stolen from her, I feel as if the writers were unfair by writing her confession this way. However, I can't harp on them too badly because somebody managed to reel some sense back into Maho's life story. Mooney furiously retorts to Maho's self-pity by reminding her who she is. A teenager. As such, it is completely normal to do things just because you think it's cool. More importantly, Mooney tells Maho that she should enjoy her youth and be happy with the choices she's made. Don't take this to mean that one should be proud of every decision made, as teenagers are bound to make some stupid mistakes. But at the same time, don't beat yourself up over it. Maho is reminded that as a teenager, she just has to take her life one day at a time and be graceful to herself. In the wise words of Jesus Christ, do not be anxious for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. Another way of looking at it is, don't let tomorrow's issues rob you of today's happiness. Or, as Maho needs to hear it, it's okay to be a kid today, because you are a kid, and there is nothing wrong with that.
強い光にも負けずにまっすぐに進んでいくムニとカホ。その姿が眩しくて羨ましくて憧れてた。憧れるあまり見えなくなってたんだ。これまでの私が100点じゃなくても確かに幸せだって感じてたこと。そうだよね。これまでのこと、自分のこと無視しちゃうなんてあまりにもかわいそうだよね。真帆ちゃん、じゃあ。うん。 おかげで元気出たよ。ありがとう、みんな。わかればいいのよ。
もうウニさんってばまたそんなことを。
今幸せなんだからそれでいいじゃないか。ほんとその通りだな。私はみんながいてハッピアラと出会えて本当に幸せ。それでいい。それがいいんだよね。ありがとうみんな。大好きだよなんて。
The story ends with Kaho giving some parting words to Maho as happyaround leave her town. Kaho encourages Maho to keep her chin up and move forward in life. Maho reflects on how she really hasn't changed much, but that's okay because she is young and has a lot of days ahead of her to move step by step. She stands proud of her choices because they have brought Rinku, Mooney, and Rei, and they're happy around life. Maho's struggle is a struggle everybody goes through, which makes sense for D4DJ's most normal character. As we enter into the new year, it is easy to lose ourselves in anxiety, thinking about how we can effectively plan for it. While the big picture is obviously important, don't forget to be graceful when you stumble. Take each step as an opportunity to be a better person than you were yesterday. And when you are unsure of yourself, just look at the story of Akashi Maho, the girl next door, as she is facing that battle right alongside you.
ああ、いい焼き色。それに小麦のいい匂い。170度で15分。何かを待っていると、ついどんな音楽をかけようかって考えちゃうんだよね。今日はやっぱり二人が喜ぶような音楽とか？そういえば、ユキノやカズマは普段どんな曲を聴いてるんだろう。いつも一緒にいるけど、イヤホンの向こうのこと案外知らないな。そんなことを考えていたら、あっという間に15分経ってた。お菓子作り、たまにはしてもいいかもな。